this government is so fond of referring to is clearly not intended for young people.
Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, Andrew Little wanted to talk about failure. Well, I want to tell the House about failure. Failure is seeing 9,000 young people end up on the unemployment heap when that party opposite decided they wanted to scrap youth wages. We saw 9,000 young people who weren't able to enter the job market because of the changes that party over there made to make it difficult, make it harder for young people to gain employment. Mr Speaker, this bill is all about giving young people more opportunities. It's all about giving young people more opportunities to get a foot on the job market. It's all about giving young people the ability to get some experience, to become more competitive in the job market, to get some jobs, because we know that leaving young people languishing on the unemployment heap is absolutely unacceptable. We know that if young people are out of school, out of work, out of training for the majority of their teenage years, then there's a 90% chance that they're going to end up as a long-term welfare beneficiary. And being a long-term welfare beneficiary has a whole lot of other problems that makes it more difficult for them to overcome in life. And so we know that getting them into training or getting them into jobs or keeping them at school is an absolute priority. So this bill is all about helping them win the job market. This bill is all about giving them an opportunity to present themselves in front of employers with a competitive edge, to give themselves something for the employers to consider taking them on. Because we know that if a 16-year-old and a 26-year-old front up in front of an employer, obviously the employer is going to choose the candidate with the greater experience. But if we give the employer an incentive through a starting out wage to take a chance from the younger employer, to look at that younger employer and say, here's an option for employing them, give them a chance, give them a go, give them the experience, then that young person gains that experience, gains the opportunity to get a foot on the job market. Mr Speaker, we know that the opposition actually have a very poor track record on jobs. Andrew Little, you should listen to this, because your party has a very poor track record. Your party saw 9,000 young people end up on the unemployment heap. Your party opposed 13,000 jobs being created through the 90-day trial. And we know that the minimum wage changes that the Labour Party wants would also see 6,000 people end up on the unemployment heap. We're actually about creating more jobs. We're actually about giving New Zealanders more opportunity. More opportunities. We've created over 50,000 jobs in the last 2 years. We've got another 150,000 jobs to be created in the next 4 years. The only thing we hear from the opposition are more policies to make it more difficult for employers and employees to meet together and create employment. Mr Speaker, this bill deserves the recognition of the House. This bill deserves to be passed through the House because there are young people out there. There are young people out there who are crying out for jobs. Young people out there who are desperate to get a foot on the job market. They know times are tough. They know that it's difficult out there for employers. They know that the 90-day trial has helped them a lot, but they need a little bit something else. And they know that this will help them further. This will help young people get onto the unemployment heap. Young people with a steady work history, like all employees, are seen as less risky for employers to take on. But if they don't have that work history, it's more difficult for them. This will enable them to get more of a work history, more ability to get through the door. Mr Speaker, the only options, the only alternatives we're hearing from the other side, Labour's solutions to the so-called crisis out there, is more inflation. Their other solution is printing money. They want to join up with the Green Party to print more money because apparently they think that's going to create more jobs as well. They think taxing people, taxing capital will help employers create more jobs. They're absolutely crazy if they think taxing capital is going to do that. Their other big solution is to go back to the 1970s with industrial relations awards, because that was their policy at the last election. Another way, another backward step to make it more difficult for employers to create jobs, make it more difficult for the economy to create jobs. Mr Speaker, we are creating jobs in the economy. This will help young people. They can yell, they can scream, they can moan about it, they can say whatever they like, but the reality is, the statistics show that 9,000 young people left the employment market. This will give them more of an opportunity to enter back on, get a foot on the ladder, get more experience and become long-term employees. Mr Speaker, this is a good piece of legislation. I look forward to it being passed through its first reading and hearing it through the Select Committee. Thank you.
Brendan Horan.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I